As the great philosopher Bill Watterson once wrote, a day can really slip by when you're deliberately avoiding what you're supposed to do. Truth is, waiting on others to get back to you might be a way some professionals subconsciously let their day slip by. So how do we know the difference between procrastination and patience? The parable of the 10 bridesmaids can give us a clue on how waiting can be a real killer. Hi, my name is Shawn Sommerkamp, and this is Motivationeer Christian Coaching. For many years, I directed high-performing professional services teams in high-tech industries. And a big part of my responsibility, and therefore my team's responsibility, was to forecast quarterly revenue. And this is done project by project. So each week, I met with my team on a Friday as a group and reviewed everybody's project one by one. This was basically the time that we would ask if their project was on time and the completion date solid. So this weekly review call as a group allowed us to forecast revenue quite well. If one of the project managers said that one of their projects might slip, the completion date might move out, my very next question was always, so what's our next step? The last thing I wanted to hear was, well, I'm waiting on, and it didn't matter whatever they said after that. All I heard was, I knew that they were usually waiting on someone to get back to them, like a customer to return a call, or someone from the order management department, or someone from manufacturing, engineering, and so on. I knew that. Yes, sometimes it might have even been an excuse. No matter the reason, all of those are inconsequential. What was happening was they were waiting instead of doing. When it comes to accomplishing our professional goals in life or at work with a project, whatever it is, waiting can be a real killer. Waiting kills deadlines, profitability, momentum, sales closure, business growth, and way more.
Kill confirmed.
To be clear, this message is not downplaying the importance of patience. There is a role patience plays, of course. We don't want to ever pester our customer or one of our colleagues. That's not going to be good. And yes, it is a good and right thing overall to go about it with the mindset that, we're waiting on the Lord, right? This is a form of righteousness, waiting on God. The Bible is filled with those passages on how we're called to wait on the Lord. We are called, however, to be diligent as we wait. It's not a matter of folding our hands. It's a matter of wisdom and diligence. And we can learn this from this very cool parable of the 10 bridesmaids. We can find it in Matthew chapter 25, 1 through 10. It says this, "At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, 'Here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him.' Then all the bridesmaids woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out.' 'No,' they replied, 'there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves.' But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The bridesmaids who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut." Let's set aside the oddity of wedding tradition in first century Judaism. Obviously, those rituals were way different than ours today. We can ignore that and still find a profound truth about 5 wise people and 5 foolish people within this parable. The wise considered possible delays. The foolish didn't. The foolish didn't want to take the extra steps, perhaps, to get ready. They really ultimately, we see, were just kind of expecting to wing it. Maybe they thought the bridegroom was going to be earlier, and they just waited. Great project managers, great business leaders, anybody who has anything to do with managing time in general, know that waiting for someone or something can be a real killer. In most cases, in the business world, waiting doesn't work very well. Those who are lean practitioners refer to this thing called the 8 wastes. And one of those 8 wastes is waiting, which means it is working against the business. It's considered a waste. What can we do instead of waiting? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Now that is an old saying. It's always better to plan ahead to avoid waiting periods. Always. And if you haven't seen it, please watch the video on this channel that I did called The Linear Thinking Trap, where I go into this concept a lot deeper. So let's say we can't avoid the wait. There's no way to bypass it. What do we do then? It's time then to make calls, to nudge, to be very direct with the people the stakeholders that we're waiting on, to send them text messages, to send them a reminder voice text, to reach out to somebody who knows them and find out how the best way to get a hold of them is. Get a hold of that person. We can't wait for them to get back a hold of us. You know, in most cases, a quick phone call or a quick text is going to loosen up whatever is sticking the flow of the work. Very quickly, it's pretty easy. We just don't think about doing it. What I found is most of us think, okay, if I make a phone call and leave a message or send an email or send one text, that's my part of the job. I'm gonna wait on them to get back in touch with me. Well, that's not our job. Our job is not to send an email or a text. Really, sitting and waiting is like saying, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, oh well. And like the unwise bridesmaids, we are guaranteed to run out of time if we are not diligent. We can't expect someone else to keep the lamp burning for us. That is on us. I say ask yourself this question often. Where am I at in the process of accomplishing this specific goal? If your answer is I'm waiting on, then it's time to take immediate action. One of my favorite all-time passages in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 4, it says, "He who watches the wind will not sow, and he who looks at the clouds will not reap." Keep progress going, no matter what. And yes, practice patience with diligence. It will pay off in the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for 2 new videos each week. Tell me in the comments below about your career situation, and I'll make a video for you with a shout out. You can also become a member at motivationeer.com. Your career is not just a way to make a living, it's a way to transform the world.